Prologue. The discovery that should not exist. The desert had always been silent. For thousands of years, the wind swept across the plateau, erasing footprints, burying bones, and guarding its secrets beneath layers of sand and stone. Satellite images had shown nothing more than fractured rock and ancient riverbeds long dried to dust. Archaeologists had passed over this region for decades, convinced that nothing of importance could have survived here. They were wrong. What emerged from the earth in the spring of that year would not only challenge accepted history, it would fracture it. The civilization uncovered beneath the desert floor was not supposed to exist. Not at this time, not with this level of sophistication, and certainly not with evidence that suggested humanity's story had begun far earlier, and far differently, than anyone had ever imagined. The world would soon learn a name that had been silent for 12.5 millennia. Chapter 1. A signal beneath the sand. It began with a mistake. Dr. Elena Markovich, a geoarchaeologist specializing in remote sensing, was analyzing satellite data intended for oil exploration. Her task was routine: filter anomalies, flag false positives, and clear the dataset for industrial use. But one irregularity refused to disappear. Beneath a remote desert region, one officially classified as archaeologically inactive, lay a geometric pattern. At first glance, it resembled a natural fault line. But when Elena adjusted the wavelength filters, the shapes sharpened. Circles, straight lines, rectangular voids arranged with mathematical precision. No known natural process created patterns like that. She zoomed in further. What she saw made her heart race. It looked like a city. Elena cross-checked historical records. No ancient settlements were documented there. No trade routes. No water sources, at least none known in the present day. And yet the data insisted otherwise. She contacted an old colleague, Professor Daniel Rees, a leading authority on prehistoric civilizations. Daniel was skeptical, until he saw the images. This, he said quietly, should not be here. Chapter 2. Excavation begins. Within months, an international research team assembled under strict confidentiality. Governments were notified, permits were rushed through, and the site was officially labeled a geological survey zone, to avoid attention. The first excavation trench was shallow, no more than 2 meters deep. They hit stone almost immediately. Not random rock, cut stone, smooth, polished, fitted together without mortar, yet locked so tightly that modern tools struggled to separate them. Carbon samples taken from organic material trapped between the stones were rushed to multiple independent laboratories. The results came back within days. 12,500 years old. The room fell silent. According to mainstream history, humans at that time were hunter-gatherers, nomadic tribes barely beginning to experiment with agriculture. Cities were believed to have emerged at least 6,000 years later. Yet here lay architectural precision that rivaled early Mesopotamia. And the excavation had only just begun. Chapter 3. The city beneath the earth. As layers of sand were removed, the outline of the city revealed itself. Massive stone platforms formed terraces descending into what appeared to be a central basin. Streets followed a grid pattern aligned not to cardinal directions, but to astronomical positions. At the heart of the city stood a monumental structure. It was circular, nearly 90 meters in diameter, constructed from monolithic stone blocks weighing up to 20 tons each. Carvings covered the walls, symbols, animals, and abstract shapes unlike anything previously recorded. But it was not the size that shocked the archaeologists. It was the engineering. Drainage channels ran beneath the streets, angled with mathematical precision to prevent flooding. Evidence of water management suggested the city once thrived near rivers or lakes that no longer existed. This meant the environment itself had been different. The civilization had not merely survived, it had mastered its world. Chapter 4. A climate that no longer exists. Geologists were called in to analyze sediment layers. Their findings were staggering. 12,500 years ago, this region had not been a desert. It had been a fertile landscape, lush grasslands, flowing rivers, abundant wildlife. This aligned with a little-known but controversial period known as the Younger Dryas, a sudden global cooling event that reshaped climates worldwide. The civilization appeared to have flourished just before, or during, that catastrophic shift. Which raised a terrifying possibility. Had this ancient culture been destroyed by a global disaster? And if so, what had they known about it? Chapter 5. The language of stone. The carvings became the focus of intense study. They depicted animals that no longer lived in the region, giant aurochs, saber-toothed cats, and unfamiliar species that existed only in fossil records. But some carvings were different. They showed the sky, stars, constellations, celestial objects arranged with astonishing accuracy. Astronomers were brought in. After weeks of analysis, they reached a conclusion that sent chills through the team. The star maps matched the night sky as it appeared 12,500 years ago. Not approximately, exactly. Whoever built this city possessed advanced astronomical knowledge, far beyond what hunter-gatherers were thought capable of. Even more unsettling were a series of symbols repeated throughout the site. A circle, a line descending from above, and a wave engulfing the land. Chapter 6. The Warning. In a chamber beneath the central monument, archaeologists uncovered a stone slab unlike any other. It was deliberately buried, sealed beneath layers of clay and ash. The symbols etched into its surface were more complex, more deliberate, clearly intended to communicate something. Using comparative analysis with early symbolic systems, linguists began to decipher a pattern. It was not a record. It was a message. Fragments of meaning emerged. Fire from the sky. The waters rise. The ground breaks. We warned. We remembered. The slab was not commemorating a triumph. It was documenting an apocalypse. Chapter 7. A Lost Knowledge. Artifacts recovered from residential areas revealed everyday life in astonishing detail. Stone tools of refined design. Ornaments made from materials sourced hundreds of kilometers away. Evidence of long-distance trade networks. But there was something else. Precision-drilled holes in stone. Something mainstream archaeology claimed was impossible without metal tools. Yet no metal artifacts were found. The implication was clear. This civilization had developed techniques lost to time. Knowledge erased. Technologies forgotten. Not because humanity failed to advance, but because it had been forced to start over. Chapter 8. The Global Connection. As news of the discovery leaked, researchers worldwide began drawing connections. Similar stone structures, matching symbols, aligned astronomical markers, sites in South America, unexplained ruins in Turkey, mysterious underwater formations near Japan, all dated to roughly the same period. The implication was explosive. This civilization had not been isolated. It had been part of a global network. A prehistoric world civilization. Chapter 9. Resistance from the establishment. Not everyone welcomed the discovery. Several prominent historians dismissed the findings as misinterpretations. Funding pressures mounted. Access to the site became restricted. Why? Because rewriting human history would not just change textbooks. It would challenge fundamental assumptions about progress, intelligence, and civilization itself. If humanity had once reached such heights, and lost them, what did that say about the present? Chapter 10. The Cataclysm Hypothesis. New evidence pointed toward a cosmic event. High levels of platinum in sediment layers. Shocked quartz. Microscopic spherules formed only under extreme heat. Signs of a massive impact. A comet or asteroid fragment striking Earth around 12,800 years ago, an event already debated among scientists. The ancient civilization appeared to have known it was coming. Their monuments were not just buildings. They were memory machines. Stone archives designed to survive disaster. Chapter 11. Why they built in stone. Organic materials rot, metal corrodes, but stone endures. The city had been designed with permanence in mind. Not comfort, not luxury, survival of knowledge. This was not just a city. It was a warning left for the future. For us. Chapter 12. The Final Chamber. In the deepest chamber yet discovered, archaeologists found something unexpected. A child's handprint pressed into wet clay, then fired into permanence. Beside it, a simple symbol. A spiral, interpreted across cultures as time, cycles, return. It was not a farewell. It was a promise. Chapter 13. The World Reacts. When the findings were finally made public, the reaction was immediate and explosive. Headlines screamed, "History rewritten. Advanced civilization before the Ice Age. Everything we know is wrong." Social media erupted. Governments issued statements. Religious institutions debated implications. Humanity was forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. We were not the first. Chapter 14. The Meaning of the Discovery. The ancient civilization did not fall because it was primitive. It fell because the earth itself changed. And yet, they had prepared. They left messages. They built monuments. They trusted that someday, someone would find them. And listen. Chapter 15. A Question for the Future. As researchers continue to excavate, one question looms larger than all others. If an advanced civilization once existed, and was nearly erased by a global catastrophe. Are we prepared to face the same fate? Or will future archaeologists uncover our ruins and ask the same haunting question? How did they forget what came before?